That's fascinating, and that's right where I wanted to go in general with you in this conversation, man, about your process. Now, you should need no introduction, but for those that may not know, you are currently a host and the creative director and a creative director at the Griot, as well as the host of Touré Show, one of my favorite
Mhm.
podcasts,
Yeah.
an 8-time author, and a book coach. So we're gonna unpack all of that before the end of this conversation. But you mentioned your tennis. I do want to start with you there because that's what you just finished doing. You just came off the tennis court and you play tennis every day. I just found this out about you, even though we've known each other for literally years, and you knew my wife
Yeah.
before that. But you play
Yeah.
tennis every day, but it's really not a game to you. Tennis.
No, no,
It's more
no,
than
no.
just a
We
game.
no, we serious with it. No, I'm very serious. I play a bunch of tournaments every year, 5, 6, 7 tournaments every year. Um, I mean, I've been playing tennis since I was 6, grew up playing tournaments, and the experience of thinking about your game and what can I improve in my game and what aspects, small aspects, do I need to change to be more efficient, to be more thoughtful, to be what like that makes it, and that drive, that experience of like just putting another brick in there and figuring out. I find that really, really exciting. Today, for example, I was thinking about something that one of the guys I work with was talking about. Before you serve, you should think about where you want to hit the first ball so that there's no mental load. There's no decision to be made. You just execute. The ball comes. I already decided the first ball is going to go cross court. So then I don't have a moment of thinking, where am I going to hit this ball? I'm immediately lining up to hit it cross court. So removing that mental load makes it easier to make that first shot. So, and I hadn't really thought about that till I started talking to higher level guys who were like, this is how you handle that situation. So I mean, trying to institute that, just trying to it becomes smaller things as you get higher and higher. Don't move your feet on your serve. Turn your shoulders on the return of serve. All these sort of little things, and just the drive to just make your game just a little bit better every day is really exciting to me.
You started playing when you were 6. You said, "Who put the racket in your hand, and who's
My
inspired you
dad,
over the years?" Yeah.
my dad. I remember him coming home. He was way into it in the 70s. He played into his 80s, always singles, never doubles. He hated doubles. Um, I remember he called and said, I'm coming home with a very special gift. And I'm like, yo, this is going to be some Batman car or something great. And he had this little wooden green and white racket for juniors. And I was like, this is not special. Now, it was probably the most special thing that he ever gave me, but at the time I didn't recognize it.
Mm-hmm.
And we started taking classes at the club that he was a part of. Now, this club is nothing like what you would imagine if I said I grew up at a tennis club.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine, like the this was a not-for-profit club in the hood in Dorchester, right near Mattapan in Boston.
In Boston, for those that don't know, yeah, exactly.
Most of the people who played there or taking lessons there were Black. A lot of them were working class projects, what have you. So, it didn't cost much to get on to play, and for juniors, it cost very little. I think would be like 100 or 200 for a summer camp, and the summer camp is like 9 to 5, 5 days a week, right? Because the whole mission was, we're going to put take some of these kids from the projects, teach them how to play tennis, get a tennis scholarship, get into a good school, and
Mm-hmm.
transform their lives. And we were middle class, but we were part of that whole thing. So I mean, this was a very Black environment. It was very fun. I watched Soul Train with the kid, with all the rest of the kids. There was a TV in the lobby, and at 11 o'clock on Saturdays, we're all sitting there watching Soul Train, and then at 12 o'clock we go out and play some more. So it was a fun, funky, very black experience. But we learned that Arthur Ashe came through. After I left, Venus came through. I hit with James Blake there once, which was incredible. Hitting with James Blake was interesting because, we only had half the court, and he was at the net at this moment when I jumped in to hit with him. And I'm hitting, and I'm like, you superstar. I think he was top 5, 6 in the world, something like that. Like, let me just see. Let me just push him a little bit, just to see. I want to see it. Let me see. Like Kobe with Jordan. Like, I want to see it.
Right.
I'm at the baseline, and I start hitting the ball really hard at him. And he's just volleying it without even moving his feet. Total poise. This is nothing. You've upped the pace. This is nothing. No big. There's like, it's just, the guy's just beautiful with it. Number 2, because I'm always thinking about cardio. Have enough stamina for the. I was like, yo, do you run? He was like, why would you run a mile? When do we ever run a mile? Like, don't run a mile to practice for tennis. We run 3, 4 steps at a time. If you run 6 steps for the ball, that's a long way. Tennis is a lot of stop start. So it's a lot of lactic acid, right? Run a couple steps, stop, got to run the other direction, stop, run the other direction. So, like short steps and then stops that, like, like that's what we're doing. So you got to prepare for that. So he reminded me, he really focused me on that. I had been running for cardio, and he's like, no, why would
Interesting.
don't do that.
Because it's funny you say that, because I dare I say, I have a better win percentage in tennis than you do, Touré, because I am 1-0 all time. Because I played for like a semester in high school, because I played high school football, and by played I mean I was on the team, if you know what I mean, right?
What did you play? What was your position?
I was a quarterback. Come on, man, you know that. Backup quarterback mostly.
Okay.
I mean, come on. What you think? I was a scream quarterback. I mean, everything about me, but I was the backup. So let's be real. I was. You know who I was? I was Mox in Varsity Blues. That was like me except black, but that was me. Yeah. But anyway, James Van Der Beek's character. No, what I was gonna say was, I did tennis. I tried tennis for 1 semester in New Orleans in high school at McDonald 35. And the people that don't understand, tennis kicks your ass physically like pretty much no other sport. Only practice that I would put up against it is track. But like football practice ain't had shit on tennis. So I had 1 match. I managed to win that 1 match, and I put that racket down. I would prefer football practice in the heat of New Orleans any day to tennis. That tests your endurance like nobody's business.
You remind me of 2 experiences. I ran into Eddie George at a airport once, at an airport bar. We had a really nice conversation. And one of the things he said was that in a football game, for him, it's actually 5 minutes of actual football, the entire game. But that is the physically hardest 5 minutes that you will ever experience. And linking to that, when Tom Brady and Draymond were on LeBron's show, right? And Tom was like, Draymond, you guys got it easy. The weather's always nice and nobody's trying to take your head off. And Draymond's like, yeah, that's cool, but y'all take a 5-minute break every 10 seconds.
Right.
Like,
you're only playing one side of the ball.
We are that too. We are, I mean, Draymond and them are running up and down the court crazy, like a solid 15 minutes.
I play basketball too. I just tennis, man. It's a different beast.
One of the things also, because one of the great experiences of my life, I did a story that didn't run for Vogue, where I went to
Mm-hmm.
Florida and I hung out with Jennifer Capriati for 2 days. And I asked and asked and asked and begged. And finally she let me hit with her for 5 minutes.
Okay.
And if you sit real close at the US Open or whatever, you can see the speed of the ball, but you can't perceive the weight of the ball, right? Until you are receiving it. I'm at the other baseline. I was never late on the ball, which I mean, I'm always out in front hitting with her for 5 minutes, right? If somebody hits the ball
Yeah.
really hard to you, you're not prepared, then you're going to meet it behind your hip. So you're late. So the ball's probably going to go off to the side instead of straight ahead, right? So she's not hitting it so fast that I was late. I'm always able to be in the right position. But her ball is so heavy that my forearm is throbbing. And I feel like I'm hitting it underwater and like really got to use my whole arm and shoulder and body to just get it back, because it's like this just weighted ball that's coming at you. And that helped me further understand the challenge that's going on at the professional level, that they're getting their whole body and their whole weight into the ball.
Yeah.
And that ball is very, very difficult to get back.
I also, by the way, maybe I didn't tell you the story. I once beat Eli Manning head to head in high school, but that's a conversation for a different day. This is about you.
In
football.
In what sport?
Yeah. Football.
In what? In running?
Football, a game. I was the quarterback
What aspect of football?
of the team. Bruh, why you sleeping on your boy? Like, I listen, I was the backup quarterback most of the time. Ask him, it happened. Why would I lie?
He was dead.
He was a freshman and I was a senior, which to me equals out because he was a Manning. Okay, fall of 1996, on the road in the rain, a hostile environment at Newman High School, at Isidore Newman High School in New Orleans, had all kinds of people chanting my name. I played. I threw the Touré. I threw the game. Look, man, if you could hit with James Blake and Jennifer Capriati, why can't I beat Eli Manning in an actual high school football game? It happened. We were trailing again on the road, hostile environment. We were trailing 7-0. I threw the game-winning touchdown pass to one corner of the end zone. The touchdown pass to the one corner of the end zone, and then the game-winning 2-point conversion to the other part of the end zone. And then, see, I wasn't even going to get into all this, but you're pulling it out of me since you asked. Then we met at midfield, and because all the cameras and the media was around us and whatnot, how they try to like read lips and whatnot, and they want to know what I was saying. I whispered in his ear, and I was like, yo, man, just keep doing what you're doing. You're on the right track. If you ever need anything, hit me up. And that was how the legend Eli Manning was born, quite honestly, because he saw how to be clutch for me. He saw that's what I told him. I was like, listen, you will learn from this experience. Like, you will be better from this. Like, I know this hurts right now, me beating you in this preseason game in 1996 as a freshman, but you will never forget this. And if you ask Eli Manning to this day, he will tell you that that's where he learned how to be clutch. So really, I'm the reason why Tom Brady doesn't have more Super Bowls. If you really want to, like, actually, your ninth book can be about how Eli Manning learned to be a champion and how Michael Smith actually rewrote history, if you really want to break it down. See, because what I'm doing right now, and I'll get to this later, I'm breaking this down the same way you broke down the songs that spoke to the issues of the 1980s. Because, like, the rabbit hole you took me down, woo, but I'm going to get to that. I'm going to get back to that. But we're on tennis. So we've established not only your love of tennis, but your knowledge of the game, which is why I don't think there's anybody better for me to talk to about what Novak Djokovic just did, passing Rafa Nadal with a record, an open era record, 23 singles major titles. Okay, well, and he's also the first guy. He's tied with Serena, but he's they trail Margaret Court technically, but he's also the first guy. Well, just technically, it wasn't the open era. Well, I'm just putting the facts out there.
I don't count what Margaret Court.
I'm just putting the facts out there. But he is the first guy with the what do they call it? The triple slam. Like, he's got 3 of each. He's the first guy with 3 of each slam. So it's just a testament to his versatility. But what I want to ask you about, though, is one of your more recent Instagram posts. I never thought I would hear this coming from you. But not only did you declare Djokovic to be the greatest men's player, but for you, he's past Serena.
Yeah.
Expound, please.
I mean, Djokovic has created the greatest resume in tennis history against the greatest competition. He's part of the greatest generation in tennis, and he was the dominant figure. He has more slams than Federer and Nadal, a head-to-head, a winning head-to-head record against both of them, and more weeks at number one than anybody else. And he accomplished all this in the era of Federer and Nadal. He is the third one to emerge on the elite stage out of those three. And once
it was 9-1 at one point in terms of majors in favor of Nadal to Djokovic.
Yeah, that, and also, Federer cakes up at a relatively weaker period. That's not his fault. But when Nadal and Djokovic are there, Federer's slam winning is far less than before when he's dealing with Leighton Hewitt and Andy Roddick and some of these other folks. Djokovic has had the most incredible 12-year period the last 12 years. And if he wasn't stupid about COVID, he might probably have a couple more. If he hadn't, just hit a ball in anger at the US Open, he might have another one. And he's 37. And he is the overwhelming favorite at Wimbledon, will be the favorite.
He can now be at the US Open. Yeah.
Yes. And the Australian. I mean, like, he was extraordinary as a, let's say, in the prime of his life sort of guy. And now he's doing the Tom Brady, LeBron thing of like beating
younger dudes,
right? I mean,
outlasting younger guys.
Yes, the globe has had a decade to find somebody to mess with Djokovic, and still hasn't found that person. And football is not a global sport. Basketball has become more of a global sport. Right. But football is not, right? Baseball is a little bit more, but football is not. It's extraordinary. I mean, we are getting tennis players pretty much from every continent, right? Africa is still coming, but Europe, Australia, obviously America, South America, Asia. Djokovic is still killing them. Best backhand ever, best return ever. But the movement around the court is what really kills me. I think that the way that he moves, his court is 2 feet wider than anyone else in terms of I can get to balls this wide on balance, make a solid shot, a solid return, and get back in the court. So his ability, his playing field is wider than anybody else's. It's ridiculous.
But there are some people that you can make an argument for some people in terms of some of the subtleties of his game. Like maybe you want to debate somebody else's return game or movement or whatever. But what is not debatable, and I think it was Andy Roddick that said this? I forget whose line it was, but somebody said of Djokovic, first he takes your legs, then he takes your soul. Have you seen a mentally tougher tennis player than Novak Djokovic? It's fitting that Brady was in his box and that you brought up Tom Brady and how they defeated Father Time. I mean, obviously Serena's got that, but like from a mental toughness standpoint, he takes the cake.
I mean, Djokovic has been extraordinarily tough mentally. It's very inspiring. Nadal and Federer have also been guys who, and Serena too, have been people who, match point down, troubles looming, and they're still freaking like just flying straight and hard and like right in, no concern, just going for, like Marines or something. Like they're just ridiculous. just the thing with Federer, with Djokovic, like I said, he's doing it against Federer and Nadal. So he's building the greatest resume ever against two of the greatest players ever. My top 5 all time is 1 Djokovic, 2 Serena, 3 Federer, 4 Nadal. So he's doing, like if LeBron caked up
So LeBron were
against
beting Jordan and Kareem.
Kobe.
Yeah,
Right?
okay, yeah,
They're
I
all
like
playing
that.
at the same time, and
Yeah,
LeBron outstripped, and Serena had an incredible career. She has no rivals. So if you want to make the case that well,
that's
Serena's
interesting.
so greater than everyone else that she's far ahead of her Federer and Nadal.
Yeah,
Hey, that's an interesting case. I don't know about that. I think Serena's
right.
career is unbelievable and inspiring and amazing,
Yeah,
and she's an extraordinary player. And it
right.
takes
And she
absolutely
represents
nothing
something
to make
completely different. Right, right.
Yes.
She
And I
transcends
would
tennis
put
in a
her,
way that Djokovic does not.
yes, and I would put her at number 2 all time. But what Djokovic has accomplished is unbelievable.
And he's not done. I mean, like you mentioned, he'll be the favorite at Wimbledon. He'll be the favorite at the U.S. Open. He make it the calendar slam. And I mean, does he threaten 30? Can you put it past him? I mean, I know that seems ridiculous. He just got 23 at the French, but I mean, he doesn't seem to be slowing down anytime soon.
I mean, 25 a year from now is completely reasonable. And you start to wonder, is this guy going to put the number of slams all time at a number that nobody's going to be able to catch? It's unbelievable.
Hey, thanks so much for kicking it with your main man, Michael Smith. Be sure to subscribe to this YouTube channel, but also subscribe to the podcast wherever you get your podcasts. Rate it, review it, tell your friends about it. Oh, and be sure to follow me on social media.